talk with you and talk with you again after not seeing you for a little while.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. I'm looking forward to this. I'm really excited about this. So let's see what happens.
All right. Okay. So, who has been so most instrumental in your success along the way?
Oh, Jesus, too many to name. Um, Quite a few general managers. Um, you know, each one of them in different ways. Don Hunter being always there, on point, focus. Ken Johnson, which pushed my life hard as he could be. My current GM, Marvin Jones, who is just teaching me how to be a really good human GM, human manager. My former chef, James Decker, who's still in touch with me. We talk, cooks. My sous chef, Matt Roach. The guy could cook like anybody else. I mean, he still can cook like anybody else I've ever seen. So use a lot of people in my career. I think I'm very grateful to be put around people who really made me better and show me also that decide, oh, you don't want to be like that. So these people we don't name.
That's awesome. I totally understand that part.
Yeah. So question for you. Yes, you are from California or you went to school in California?
I'm from California originally, Northern California,
Yes.
a little town, Elk Grove.
Wow. So what is the biggest surprise you got when you moved to the East Coast? Because I moved from the East Coast to Texas and from Venezuela to the US. And how do you overcome and what do you miss the most?
So the first part of it. So moving out here to the East Coast, the one thing I loved about it was I'm a huge history buff. So the history and everything, history, not just in America, but even the clubs, like the older things are, how nostalgic, how the lineage of things are in full effect. And I think that's been, I say, the most exciting thing, but like a big challenge as well, because there's nostalgia and things that have been here for over 100 years. And how do you keep them relevant and keep them moving forward? I think that's been the biggest challenge, or I'd say moving forward or moving to the East Coast. One thing I do miss the most, I think, about the West Coast is the fresh. I'd say fresh produce, but there's great farms out here. There's great people. I just miss how much of it actually hit the country from California. I mean, I had farmers that would call me in the morning. I had a basil and tomato farmer that would call me between 7 and 8 every morning and ask me how many pounds of tomatoes, how much basil, and it never hit a fridge. I had farmers that would do test crops and bring me 8 cases of zucchini. Here you go. What are you gonna do with 8 cases? But we figured it out. Different stuff like that. So I miss those pieces, direct going to the farmers and direct having the farmers bring stuff to the club. That's been, I think, the biggest miss of moving out from the West Coast to the East Coast. So I got another one for you. So what recipe are you most proud of, and what is your favorite thing to make?
I cook fish. I love cooking fish. I have learned to love barbecue here in Texas. It's a different style, salt and pepper and smoke and let it do your thing. Recipe I'm most proud of, it's gonna be, if you go to Eldridge Club, if you need to try the quinoa and avocado stack.
Okay.
That is a recipe that I pulled out of nowhere, and it's still a staple of the club almost 15 years after. Still running, it's still there. And then another
awesome.
Recipe that I took was really simple. I did a tomato orange soup, and also we still run it in every single club that I have left. They still run that soup.
That's awesome.
So yes, I think those are kind of my trademarks.
There you go.
I play with those.
Got to have one or two here and there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have a new GM, yes?
Yes.
So connection here. I applied for that job in Colombia with Will Duty a while back, and Will is the general manager around Hill where I was not before I moved here. So we have a connection with Will. You work with Will?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Will's a great guy.
Yeah. Super cool guy. So what is, when you have a new manager, it's always pain points and difficult and challenging things. What has gotten easier? What has gotten harder? And how is your club changing with the new GM?
So, I mean, that's a great question. It's loaded. It's, I I think anytime, as a chef or as a F&B, a director in some sort, when you change a GM, it's like fearful. It's like, what's going to happen? What's going to come next? How are things going to transpire? What programs or things are going to change? We were very lucky to have Bill Jankowski come to us from a club here in the area. He has a lot of food and beverage background, which I say when I lean towards the easier part of it. He used to be a chef and used to work in the kitchen. So the language, the barrier of talking about finances, talking about kitchen needs, different things. It's sometimes when you have new GMs, you kind of have to go down rabbit holes for understanding or just try to paint the full picture. In this regard, he totally gets the kitchen. He understands every single piece inside and out. What equipment we may need, especially we're in the final stages of our phase 2 of our project. We're getting ready to finish our kitchen. We're blowing it out. It's gonna be about 3,200 square feet. And it's taken over the better part of 8 months. And so with him, the new GM coming in, it was kind of like, what's going to happen? But being that he has a food and beverage background and he understands the pieces when we're going through kitchen equipment, he can stand in the station and say, what are you doing in this? What's this for? What's the purpose of this? Or this piece of machinery, why it's working. So the transition for myself and for the culinary team has been easier in that regard. Just the fact of the food and beverage pieces are really well understood. And so that's been a great thing. I say a hindrance, a piece. There really hasn't been a bad moment. I think the fresh eyes, new perspective, and our club is 120 something years old. So bringing somebody new frame of eyes on old nostalgic things. Sometimes people see it as change, but as I say, bad change, but it's not bad. It's always good. A different set of eyes, different perspective on things. That's been, if there's a challenge in it, that's been the challenging piece, but I see it as the challenging thing for the team to succeed. There's, how many different clubs in the country do how many things, the same thing, but a different way. And we've kind of grabbed that approach and went with it on how are we going to, take this challenge and move forward with things. It's been fun because we just see things through a different lens. But it's been a great communication back and forth with each other.
Nice.
It's been good.
It's stressful. It is very stressful when you change managers, and it's good to look at it from the good perspective. What is this person bringing to the table, and how can I learn from this person?
Yeah, no, exactly. And then the biggest part is, people were fearful, like he's going to come in, or are we going to get a new GM that's going to change the whole scope of things? And it's like, you're at certain clubs, you're at certain things, it's not needed. It's just how can we embellish and make things better? And so once people understood that was the path, it's been great. I mean, we've been just moving full speed ahead. And this project's gonna be done in a couple months, so it'll be good. So we're very excited about that.
Nice.
Okay, so I had some questions written down, and I kind of went back and forth on which ones to ask, but I'm going to go on the fact of similar to one that you had with moving, being from Venezuela, being out on the East Coast, moving to Texas. What has been the biggest culture shock or aspect that's changed the way you've done your kitchen along moving these different places and moving the different stuff? How have you incorporated these moves to make your kitchen better or a special place? What's made it so special?
So so I live in Ohio, Indiana, Baltimore, Connecticut, and now Texas. I think my biggest challenge here in Texas has been to understand that we work at a different speed. Meaning, I'm not going to say Midwest speeds, I'm talking about South American speed. You need to order fish today and you order 24 lobsters, and the guy called you tomorrow morning, oh, there's no lobsters.
That's the challenge.
Yeah, or you pick up, like I used to be in Connecticut. I will pick, and even in Baltimore, you pick up the phone, you leave a voicemail in the magic machine, like you call it, at the end of the night, 11 p.m. I need 17 pounds of grouper, 20 pounds of red snapper, 2 buckets of day boat scallops, and 2 dozen lobsters. And they just show up in your kitchen next day. Mm-hmm. I need veal chop, number 1, 2, and 3, 40 pieces. They show up next day. Here, if I call my vendor, and that was a challenge at the beginning, I call my vendor, say I need veal chop, number 1, 2, and 3 for a board dinner. I have to start 2 weeks in advance.
Oh, man.
Sometimes no, we don't carry those. We can't get them for you. or you need to pay, someone to ship into you from Chicago. But again, you need to tell them on Monday because you need them for Friday. So they have to cut them on Tuesday, put them on a truck on Wednesday, so they get to you on Thursday. That's been a massive challenge for some of those specialty unique items. It's getting a lot better. San Antonio is an interesting market. San Antonio has grown dramatically the last 5 years, and but it's not Austin. It's not Houston, it's not Dallas. One of my vendors said, San Antonio is considered to some extent a C market, which is not oh my God, this guy, which is not a good or a bad thing, but it's just getting used to the market. We're so close to the ocean, and it's so hard to get seafood sometimes, other than the standards. And that's been a real challenge to get used to and write menus and develop menus and see things. When I moved to Baltimore from the Midwest, I went on a different scope. I was used to the Midwest being quiet and slow and at a pace. And my GM, Ken Johnson, he's at Baltimore Country Club right now.
He's another good one.
Oh my God, yes, I learned so much from that guy. It was great, but he well, and he's tame right now. You met Ken Johnson 10 years ago; he was a different person. But he teach me so much, and I learned so much. And he was pushing so hard to do so much. So that's what I got. That immediate satisfaction, gratification, and learn how to deal with that on a different perspective. So that was one of the biggest challenges, getting used to that. The other challenge has been, I don't have, I built a really good crew in Baltimore. I inherited a pretty strong crew, and I built a really good crew. I had a really good crew in Connecticut that I built and all that. And then when I moved to Texas, I moved in 2019, and we got hit with COVID. And now is when I finally have a crew. I've been here for 5 years, and the last year has been the first year that we have, we're doing reviews, and everybody's hitting in the second and the third year. And you're feeling that now everybody's meshing. And that was really tough. Through COVID, everybody was the same. You cannot find anybody, or the 2 years after COVID, you couldn't find people, not even a single applicant. And even with the school here, the CIA, it was hard because they come in, they work 90 days with you, and they go away.
Yeah.
So that was really tough. Now we finally have a crew that's cohesive, and they understand each other. They kind of like each other too, which is good. So make my life a lot easier. That's been one of the biggest, surprises and challenges and good things to do.
That's awesome.
I got a question for you. So who has been the most difficult employee or manager to work with or for, and why, and what do you learn from that person?
Well, being this is going out to people. I'm with you. I'm not going to name, I'm not going to put names out there or places of the name so people don't track this piece. I think over the years I've had experiences that I've gained. I say gain knowledge from. It's I've opened countless places, and I think what I've learned the most is through this, and with your question is how to effectively open a place or structure an opening to something. I've been through a few openings of projects where, this is back in California, a couple of openings of projects where we've had things go, and you get to the days, months before, and kind of the train wreck starts to happen, and then opening becomes a long lineage of a nightmare. And I think that's through those challenges, I've learned a lot, how to organize, how to lay down a path. Your eye is always on the end prize, and I'm hoping that doing something here throughout what we're doing here at Columbia, the stuff I've learned along the way through an opening, we finally sat down. I say finally, but we've sat down countless times as a team and laid down a path to how can we be successful through this opening, and we're sitting together every week, almost every day, going over this game plan. I try to look at it as like a team. I've done some coaching, football at a younger age, and it was, I played a lot at high level sports, and it's how does a team, get through different successes, or how do they keep planning? And it's, you say you practice the play, but you're really practicing to make sure that all your systems are in check and in order. And I think the team that we've built, the team that we have built here right now, like to your point, after COVID, we have a team that's firing on all cylinders, and everybody's working together. And through all these I say disadvantages are things that I've learned with different managers and different people when I was back in California, learning through, I say the pitfalls and shortcomings of things. I don't want to relive those moments. I want to make sure that the team is successful. So that we've laid down a roadmap, and we, like I said, it's like every time we go to a meeting, I view it like a practice. Like we're going through our systems, going through our stuff. So when we do open and we do have that set game day take place, if we do our jobs, we do our jobs diligently, and we worry about what we need to do, the prep list we need to do, the everything moving into the space, executing, the mock services, different stuff that we've all lived it. So I just think, it's something I'm looking forward to seeing it come to full fruition. But I think that's been the biggest challenge I'd say I've learned a lot from is through opening places. It's not everybody likes to go in and remodel or open a kitchen because it's an enduring measure. I find fascination in it, and it's fun, just like in the kitchen, the stressful moments and everything. So like going through renovations, you learn something every single time. You learn, whether it's good or bad. And I think for where I'm at now, the most instrumental like success in it has been learning through the what not to do. Has given me more resilience in this part now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.